You don't have to understand the plan to trust the planner. Because what you can't see, Allah already has written. Sometimes life feels like a maze. You take one turn, and it's a dead end. You try another, and you hit another wall. You pray, you cry, you ask Allah for answers, but the silence feels endless. And that's when Shaitan whispers, maybe nothing is working. Maybe Allah has forgotten you. But the truth is the exact opposite. In those moments when you feel lost, Allah's plan is still unfolding perfectly, just beyond your sight. You may not see the wisdom now, but you are being guided step by step to a destination you can't imagine. Every closed door, every delay, every change in your path, it's not a mistake, it's a master design. The problem is, we want to read the whole story while we're still on the first page. But Allah, in His infinite knowledge, knows when to turn the page. He knows when to bring people into your life, and when to take them away, when to give you something, and when to withhold it for something far better. The plan you don't see is often the one that saves you from pain you never knew was coming, and delivers you blessings you never thought you'd deserve. And one day when you look back, you realize every twist, every tear, every unanswered prayer was part of a perfect plan that only Allah could have written. We often live our lives like we're staring through a small keyhole. We can only see a narrow, limited view of what's happening in front of us. When something doesn't go our way, we panic, we complain, we question, why me? Why now? Why this? But the reality is Allah sees what we cannot. He sees the entire picture from the very beginning of your story to its very last page. What you see as a problem today might actually be a protection tomorrow. What you think is a painful delay could be the very thing saving you from a disaster you can't even imagine. Allah knows where every road leads. He knows what lies behind every closed door. He knows the dangers you can't see and the blessings that are still hidden. You only see the surface, but Allah sees the depth. You see the moment, but Allah sees eternity. And that's why sometimes He removes things from your life that you thought you needed, because He knows they would harm you. Sometimes He takes you out of places you were comfortable in, because He knows they would limit you. Sometimes He allows hardship, not because He wants to break you, but because He wants to build you into the person who can handle the blessings He's preparing for you. Think about Yusuf, sold as a slave, thrown into a well, unjustly imprisoned. From the outside, it looked like his life was falling apart, but Allah was arranging every step for him to eventually become a leader, save a nation from famine, and reunite with his family. You see, Allah was connecting the dots long before Yusuf could see the picture. And He's doing the same for you right now. Maybe He's keeping you single because the right person is still being prepared. Maybe He's holding you back from a certain job because a better opportunity is waiting just ahead. Maybe He's letting you go through this difficulty because the strength you'll gain from it will carry you into a future you never thought possible. When you understand that Allah sees the whole picture, you stop stressing over the pieces you don't understand. You start realizing that your life is not a series of random events. It's a carefully crafted plan by the one who loves you more than you love yourself. So even when the path twists, even when the road seems dark, remind your heart, Allah sees the whole picture, and He never makes mistakes. What you see as a confusion today will one day become a clarity, and what you see as a loss today will one day be revealed as a gain. Trust the one who wrote your story from beginning to end, because the author of your life knows exactly how to give it the most beautiful ending. Life has a way of making us feel like we're trapped in the middle of a puzzle without the box to show us the full image. We have a few scattered pieces in our hands. Some are beautiful and colorful, others are dark and jagged, and we're desperately trying to make sense of where they fit. But the truth is, we can't see what Allah sees. We are looking at life from the ground level, while Allah sees it from above, in its entirety, from the very first breath you took to the very last step you will ever walk. And because His vision is complete and perfect, His decisions for you are always precise. Never random, never accidental, never flawed. We live moment to moment, but Allah is not bound by time. He sees how the choice you make today will ripple into your tomorrow. He knows which friendships will shape you, which opportunities will help you grow, and which ones will destroy you if He allowed them into your life too soon. Sometimes we cry over closed doors as if they are the end of the world. We stand in front of them banging our fists, begging for them to open, thinking that if only this one thing happened, everything would be perfect. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what lies behind those doors. And sometimes what's behind them is not the blessing you think it is. Sometimes it's a storm, sometimes it's a trap, sometimes it's a test you're not ready for. So in His mercy, He keeps it closed. And yes, it hurts. Yes, you might not understand right now. But one day you will look back and thank Him for every no that saved you, for every delay that positioned you in the right place at the right time. Think of the story of Yusuf. If you looked at his life in pieces, it would seem like a series of tragedies. Abandoned in a well by his own brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused, imprisoned for years. If you froze the story in any of those moments, you'd think Allah had abandoned him. But Allah was writing a far greater story, one where every hardship was a stepping stone to His ultimate position of power, where He would save an entire nation from famine and be reunited with the very family that once betrayed Him. The well was not a punishment, it was a path. The prison was not the end, it was preparation. And the same is true for you. The moment you're in now is not the whole story. You're just in a chapter, and Allah already knows the ending. Our problem is that we judge Allah's plan too early. We see the first few scenes and decide we know the plot. But Allah's plans are layered, complex, and perfect. He doesn't just think about your present comfort. He thinks about your eternal success. He knows the strength you need to develop before He hands you certain blessings. He knows the patience you must learn before you can handle responsibility. He knows the faith you must build before He shows you the outcome. If He gave you everything you ask for right now, without the growth, without the lessons, it might destroy you instead of elevate you. It's like planting a seed. You bury it under the soil, where it's dark and hidden. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But under the surface, transformation is taking place. Roots are forming, strength is being built. And in the right season, it will break through the ground. Your life is the same. Right now, Allah may have you buried in a situation that feels hidden, small, or even hopeless. But He's growing you in ways you can't see. And when the time is right, you will rise exactly when and where you are meant to. And here's the thing. Trusting Allah's plan doesn't mean you will always understand it. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. It's about saying, Ya Allah, I don't see the whole picture, but I know you do. And that is enough for me. When you truly believe this, your heart becomes lighter. You stop wrestling with the whys and start focusing on the how. How to use this moment to grow. How to keep your connection with Allah strong. How to make today count even if tomorrow is uncertain. If we're honest, the real struggle is that we think we know what's best for ourselves. We think if life just went according to our script, we'd be happy. But how many times in your life have you wanted something so badly, only to realize later that it wouldn't have been good for you? How many times have you cried over a loss, only to see years later that it was the very thing that made you stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah? Heartbreak you thought would kill you was actually the door to your healing. The failure you thought ruined you was actually the start of your true success. The delay you thought was holding you back was actually positioning you for something far greater than you imagined. The beauty of Allah's plan is that it is always for your benefit, even when it doesn't feel like it. He is Al-Basir, the all-seeing. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. He is Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. These are not just names, they are realities. They mean that every single thing Allah allows or withholds is guided by perfect vision, perfect wisdom, and perfect mercy. He is not testing you to break you. He is testing you to build you. He is not delaying to punish you. He is delaying to prepare you. So the next time you feel frustrated because you can't see where your life is going, remember this. You're not supposed to see the whole picture. That's Allah's job. Your job is to trust Him with the parts you can't see, to keep walking even when the road is foggy, to believe that the one who painted your sky and carved your fingerprints knows exactly what He's doing with your life. One day you will look back and every unanswered prayer, every painful season, every confusing twist will make sense. You will see that nothing was wasted, nothing was random, and nothing was ever out of His control. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you don't see the whole picture now is because if you did, you wouldn't need faith. But Allah loves you enough to grow your faith, to teach you trust, to draw you closer to Him. That is the plan you don't see, but He does. And in His plan, there is no mistake, no coincidence, no moment too late or too early. Everything is exactly where it is meant to be. Sometimes you look at your life and it feels like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in the same place. Friends are getting married, building families, advancing in their careers, traveling the world, while you're still standing where you were years ago, holding on to unanswered du'as, dreams that haven't come true, and prayers that seem to float into the night with no sign of being heard. And in those moments when it's just you and your thoughts, you might whisper to yourself, "Why me? Why is Allah making me wait? Did He forget me? Am I not worthy of His mercy?" But the truth is, Allah has never forgotten you. Not for a single heartbeat. The Quran reminds us that Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein. Every dua you've made, every tear you've shed, every ache in your heart, He knows. And when Allah delays something, it is never out of neglect. It is always out of love, protection, and perfect wisdom. The delay you hate right now might be the shield that is saving you from something that would have broken you if it came too soon. We think we are ready for our blessings, but sometimes our hearts, our faith, or our circumstances are not strong enough to hold them yet. Imagine handing a delicate glass vase to someone who doesn't yet know how to hold it. It would shatter. Allah knows when the blessing will strengthen you and when it will destroy you. That's why waiting is not wasted time when Allah is the one making you wait. If you looked at His life in the middle of the hardship, it would seem like everything was falling apart. But from Allah's view, it was all falling into place. Your life works the same way. Right now, the thing you are crying over might be the thing that's saving your faith, your health, your family, your future. We get so attached to what we want that we forget Allah knows what we need. And what we need is always more important than what we want, because what we want is often shaped by our desires, our emotions, and our limited vision. But what we need is chosen by Allah, who loves us more than we love ourselves. So the next time you lose something, pause and remind yourself, if it was truly good for me, Allah would have let it stay. If it has been taken, it is because He has something better planned. This is not blind optimism. This is faith built on the knowledge of who Allah is. He is Al-Hakim, the All-Wise. He is Ur-Rahman, the most merciful. He does not withhold out of cruelty. He withholds out of protection. And yes, it will hurt, sometimes deeply. But that hurt is not the end of your story. One day, you will look back and realize that the very thing you thought was a punishment was actually the greatest mercy. That's the beauty of Allah's plan. It's not just about giving you blessings. It's about shaping you into the person who can handle them, cherish them, and use them in a way that brings you closer to Him. So don't let the pain of a closed door make you doubt the one who holds the keys to all doors. Trust that the author of your story has written every chapter with love, even the ones you don't understand yet. Keep walking, keep praying, keep believing, because the plan you don't see is still working. And one day, you will see that every and no from Allah was leading you to the most beautiful yes of your life. Sometimes in life, you will feel like no matter how hard you try, every single door keeps slamming in your face. You send out applications and get no reply. You pour your heart into a relationship only for it to fall apart. You make plans, you dream, you work, and still you are met with silence, rejection, or sudden endings. And in those moments, your heart will whisper, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe Allah has forgotten me. But my brother, my sister, you must understand. When Allah closes a door, it is never without reason. and it is never without purpose. Those doors you keep knocking on are not staying shut to punish you. They are staying shut to protect you. Allah sees what you cannot see. He hears conversations you will never hear. He knows the traps that are disguised as opportunities, the dangers that are hidden behind smiling faces, the heartbreak that waits behind the very thing you are chasing. And so, in His infinite mercy, He removes it from your path, even if you cry for it, even if you believe you cannot live without it. That rejection you faced was actually Allah's way of redirecting you to something greater. That closed door was saving you from a lifetime of regret. Sometimes Allah will withhold something from you not because He doesn't love you, but because He loves you too much to let you settle for less than what you deserve. And yet, our limited hearts cannot comprehend it in the moment. We cry, we plead, we ask Him, why me? Not realizing that if we saw the full picture, we would fall to our knees in gratitude for the very thing we're upset about today. The truth is, every no from Allah is a hidden yes to something better. Every delay is a setup for something far greater than your imagination can dream. Think about Prophet Yusuf, how he was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for years for a crime he did not commit. At every turn, the doors kept closing. But each one was leading him to the greatest door of all, the door to the palace, the door to leadership, the door to honor. If Yusuf had not been thrown into the well, he would never have met the caravan. If he had not been sold into slavery, he would never have reached Egypt. If he had not been imprisoned, he would never have met the person who would eventually connect him to the king, the product king. What looked like misfortune after misfortune was in reality a chain of divine interventions leading him exactly where Allah wanted him to be. And the same is true for you. You think the job you lost is the end of your career, but Allah sees the one opportunity that will bring you peace, stability, and blessings you cannot even count. You think the person who walked away was your soulmate, but Allah sees the one who will honor you, protect you, and love you in ways you didn't know were possible. You think the dream that shattered has left you empty, but Allah sees the dream that will not just fill you, but overflow your heart with joy and purpose. Trust Him when it doesn't make sense. Trust Him when it hurts. Trust Him when you have nothing left but faith. Because the same Allah who closed those doors has the keys to doors you didn't even know existed. And when He opens them, you will realize every closed door was worth it. So the next time life shuts you out, don't break down in despair. Break down in sujood. Cry to the one who knows the unseen. Pour out your heart to the one who writes your story. And remind yourself over and over again, the plan you don't see, Allah does. And His plan is always better than yours. There are moments in life when you beg Allah to show you the whole picture, to reveal the outcome, to lift the curtain from the unseen so you can finally stop guessing and stop worrying. But Allah, in His unmatched wisdom, often chooses not to show you every detail, not because He wants to keep you in suspense or make you anxious, but because He is protecting you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. If you could see the entire plan right now, if you could see every twist, every heartbreak, every delay, every loss, and every trial all at once, your heart might shatter before you even take the first step. Allah knows that some of the things in your future are not yet meant to be carried by you, not because they will destroy you, but because they will grow you. And growth requires time, patience, and gradual exposure. Think of it like a seed planted deep in the soil. If the farmer were to dig it up too soon to see if it's growing, the roots would be destroyed before they even have the chance to hold onto the earth. That's what happens when you demand to see too much too soon. Allah's mercy is in the hidden. The unseen is not your enemy. It is your shield. Sometimes the details you're asking for are heavy in this moment. And if you knew them now, you might run away from the very path that will lead to your greatest blessings. How many times in your past did you think, if I knew this would happen, I never would have started, only to realize later that what you went through was the very thing that shaped you, softened you, and brought you closer to Allah? That's why Allah sometimes hides the how and the when, because if you saw the obstacles, you might lose the courage to face them. But if you walk in faith, you'll face them one by one. And each time you do, you'll be stronger than before. And here's something we rarely admit. Sometimes we think we want the truth, but what we really want is reassurance. We want Allah to tell us, "Oh, don't worry, it's going to be fine." But the truth is, Allah doesn't just want you to feel reassured. He wants you to become reassured through faith. Faith that doesn't depend on sight. Faith that doesn't need all the details before taking the next step. Faith that is confident, not because the path is clear, but because the guide is perfect. You see, Allah hiding the details isn't silence, it's strategy. The same way a loving parent won't tell a child about every bump in the road on a long journey, Allah won't overwhelm you with everything at once. He gives you only what you need for today, and tomorrow He will give you what you need for tomorrow. And that's why the Prophet reminded us, if you put your trust completely in Allah, He will provide for you as He provides for the birds. They leave in the morning with empty stomachs and return full in the evening. Notice something. The bird doesn't know exactly where the food will be. It just knows it has to fly, search, trust, and keep going. That's how you have to live with Allah's plan. You don't have to see the full roadmap. You just have to know the one who designed it. And when life doesn't go as you imagined, remember this. Allah is not keeping the truth from you to punish you. He is keeping it from you because He knows exactly how much your heart can handle right now. And in the moments when you feel frustrated, when you're tempted to say, "Why can't I just know?" Remind yourself, maybe the details you're desperate to see are the very things that would weaken your faith if you knew them too soon. Allah doesn't work on your timeline. He works on the timeline that will save you, heal you, and guide you in the most perfect way. So when you can't see, don't panic. When you don't have all the answers, don't despair, because the one who sees everything from the beginning to the end is holding your life in His hands, and those hands never let go of what they protect. Sometimes you look at your life, and it feels like nothing is moving forward. Your prayers seem unanswered, your dreams seem delayed, and you start wondering, why is Allah making me wait so long? But you see, my dear brother, my dear sister, when Allah delays something, it's never out of neglect, never out of forgetfulness. It's because His timing is perfect, even if you can't see it yet. Every delay is a precise part of His divine plan, written for you long before you were even born. Think of a seed buried in the soil. From above, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, strength is building, and life is preparing to break through. If you rush the process and dig it up too early, you destroy what was meant to grow. That's exactly what happens when you try to rush Allah's plan. You might ruin something that was going to be far better than you imagined. In the moments when you feel impatient, remind yourself that Allah sees what you do not. He knows what you're ready for, and He knows what would harm you if given too soon. Sometimes the thing you are begging for is actually a test that could break you if it arrived now. Sometimes that relationship you want so badly would distract you from your purpose. Sometimes that wealth you are chasing would corrupt your heart. So Allah, out of His mercy, holds it back. Not because He doesn't want you to have it, but because He wants you to have it at the right time, in the right way, when your heart and soul are strong enough to handle it. And while you are waiting, He is not wasting a single second. Every delay is preparation. Every moment is shaping you, polishing you, humbling you, and making you more grateful for when the blessing finally arrives. Look back at your own life. How many times did something feel late, but when it came, you realized it was exactly on time? That job you thought you lost was replaced by one far better. That heartbreak you thought would destroy you led you to someone who loved you more purely. That missed opportunity cleared the path for something you didn't even know existed. This is how Allah works. His delays are not denials. His timing is a form of divine precision. Even the Prophet Yusuf was delayed for years in prison before he was raised to power. Even Musa wandered in the desert before Allah split the sea for him. And without realizing it, we start expecting Allah's plan to work the same way. We make dua tonight and we expect the answer tomorrow. But the truth is, Allah is not in a hurry. His timing is not measured by our impatience. Sometimes He delays not to hurt you, but to prepare you. To prepare you. Think about it. What if Allah gave you that dream job before you learned how to handle responsibility? What if He gave you that spouse before you healed from your past? What if He gave you that blessing while your heart was still tied to the wrong things? You would lose it as quickly as you got it. That's why the delay is part of the mercy. It's a season of shaping, of training, of building you from the inside out. Look at the life of Prophet Yusuf. He had a dream as a boy that one day people would honor him. But before that dream came true, he was thrown into a well, sold as a slave, accused of a crime he didn't commit, and left in prison. Years went by. From the outside, it looked like his life was moving further away from the dream. But in reality, every delay was positioning him closer to it. Without the well, he wouldn't have been taken to Egypt. Without the prison, he wouldn't have met the man who connected him to the king. Without those years of waiting, he wouldn't have been ready to rule with wisdom and mercy. The delay was never a denial. It was the exact route to the destination. And maybe that's where you are now. You've been praying, trying, waiting, and it feels like nothing is moving. But what you don't see is that Allah is moving things you can't see. He is arranging meetings, opening doors, and removing obstacles that would have destroyed you. Sometimes Allah is even protecting you from your request because He knows it's not time yet. If a fruit is picked too early, it's bitter. If it's picked at the right time, it's sweet. Allah is not just giving you what you ask for. He's making sure it arrives when it will be the most beautiful, the most beneficial, and the most lasting. And in the delay, something else happens. You grow closer to Him. You talk to Him more. You remember Him more. You depend on Him more. If He gave you everything instantly, you might take it and forget Him. But when you have to wait, you learn to love the giver more than the gift. And that is the real success. So the next time you're tempted to think, Allah is ignoring me, remember, silence is not absence. Delay is not rejection. The one who split the sea for Musa, who saved Yunus in the belly of the whale, who brought fire to be cool for Ibrahim, is the same one writing your story. And when the time is right, not a moment early, not a moment late, your blessing will arrive. And you realize it was worth every second of the wait. At some point in life, you have to make a decision. Will you trust your limited sight, or will you trust the one who sees the beginning and the end? Because the truth is, you and I, we only see a sentence, maybe a paragraph of the story Allah is writing for us. But Allah Al-Alim, the all-knowing, He sees the entire book. He wrote it. And every plot twist, every delay, every heartbreak, and every breakthrough is written with divine precision. We panic when the chapter we're in doesn't make sense, but that's because we're judging the whole story by one page. Imagine reading a novel, stopping halfway, and saying, this makes no sense, it's ruined. You can't say that. You haven't seen the ending. Life works the same way. Sometimes Allah will close a door so loudly, it shakes your heart. And in that moment you might cry, why, Ya Allah? But if you keep walking with Him, you'll find that behind that closed door was a path that would have harmed you, or a blessing you weren't ready to hold. Allah never removes something without replacing it with something better. Maybe not better in the way your eyes see, but better in the way your soul needs. We're so focused on the physical, the job, the house, the marriage, the money, that we forget Allah is focused on the eternal. His goal is not just to make you comfortable in this world, but to make you successful in the next. That's why sometimes He writes hardships into your story not to break you, but to bend you toward Him. Every tear you cry is ink in your story that angels record. Every sujood you make in your pain is a sentence written in gold. And here's the beautiful part. With Allah, there is no wasted chapter. The moments you regret, the mistakes you made, the years you think you lost, and Allah can take all of it and weave it into a masterpiece. He is Al-Fatah, the opener, and He can open a future that makes you forget the pain of the past. but you have to trust him enough to turn the page. You have to believe that even when you don't understand the plot, the author does. Your job is not to figure out every twist in the story. Your job is to hold on to the pen of your faith and keep writing your obedience on every page. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the very chapters you wanted to skip were the ones that shaped you the most, the ones that made the ending so beautiful. So trust the author of your story. Let him write it, even if the ink is made of your tears. And when the final chapter comes, you'll stand before him and everything will make sense. Every delay, every loss, every unanswered door, you'll see how it all fit together perfectly. And in that moment, you'll thank him, not just for the blessings, but for the tests, for the closed doors, for the times he said, "Not yet." Because those were the moments that proved he was never against you. He was always for you, always guiding you, always loving you, even when you couldn't see it. So the next time life feels uncertain, the next time doors close and paths disappear, the next time you cry out to Allah wondering why he isn't answering, remember this: silence is not absence, and delay is not denial. Just because you don't see the plan doesn't mean it's not unfolding perfectly in the background. Every moment, every tear, every struggle you face is a thread in a masterpiece only Allah can weave. You see fragments, he sees the full picture. You see the storm, he sees the rainbow after it. You see the roadblock, he sees the path that will protect you. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize every no was saving you from harm. Every delay was building your strength, and every unanswered prayer was replaced with something far greater than you could imagine. Trust him even when your heart is breaking, because the one who wrote your story knows the ending, and it is more beautiful than anything you've dreamed of.